Welcome to Madlit Musings, the podcast where you get to eavesdrop on your favorite authors without getting caught. I've been stoked to have authors like Angela Hunt, Bill Myers, Nicole Deese, Tessa Afshar, comedian Bob Smiley, and more on the show, and this year I have another great lineup of storytellers and truth-sayers. If you love to eavesdrop at coffee shops like I do, this is the podcast for you. It's where we get real, we get tough, we laugh, and we might even cry. It's where we meet authors on a different level, where every story and podcast episode has its own heartbeat. So hang out with me today. I'm Jaime Wright, your host at Madlit Musings. This is your podcast for real chats with real authors about real life. Hey everyone, it is Jaime Wright here with Madlit Musings, and I am super excited today to have a really good friend of mine. You guys are going to be completely stoked to meet her, and I'm super excited to have you meet her. But I have with me T. Elizabeth Renich. Welcome.
Thank you.
I'm so glad to have you here.
I'm glad to be here.
It's always fun to have podcasts where I can sit down and chat with the authors. And I really love having podcasts where a newer author or a new to the readers listening author is on. And the fun piece of trivia that I have for the readers today is that you are potentially a new to them author, but you are not a new author.
Correct.
So tell us a little bit about what I mean by that.
You mean that
Read
I
my
had
thoughts.
books that came out 25 years ago.
Yes.
And we thought they were dead and I wasn't going to write anymore. And I was finished with being an author. Check it off the list.
Yes, you were. And then what happened?
Well, then I went to England and saw some things there that interested me. I had a chance to travel with some authors, and influence kind of rubbed off. And then there was this challenge. You really should write something else. And I dug in my heels at the beginning, and then about second or third time God sent somebody into the path, it was like, that's too many times to not be obedient. So
don't you love that? You're like, really?
Really?
For real?
When they say almost exactly the same thing, and it's completely unrelated sources, it's like, okay, something else is going on behind the scenes.
Right. It's not like they've been calling each other going, no, you say this and I'll say this and you say this. And maybe Tamula's like this. These people are unrelated. So at that point you're like, okay, God, you've got something up your sleeve.
Yep.
So
I asked for the open doors, and I would go through the open doors, and if the doors were closed, then I wouldn't do it, and the doors kept opening.
They've been flying open for you. They really have. Like, some authors are struggling, like, is the door open? I can't tell if I think it's open. It does not appear to be locked. And for Tammy, it's like banging wide open. And she's like, just broke off the hinges. Like, you couldn't close the door back if you wanted to. Is that an accurate representation, or is that a Jaime Wright exaggeration?
It might be an exterior observation, because I don't always see that. Yes. But other people have told me that, there's no way I would be sitting where I am without help from other people and the Lord putting those pieces together. But there are a lot of times where I sit here and go, how did we get here?
Yeah.
What was I thinking, and how did we get here?
Right. That's a really good point, though, because I think sometimes, especially for people who are listening that either want to be a writer or want to be an author, there's this feeling that from the outside, you watch others' careers and you're like, oh, that just was so easy for them, or everything just opened up perfectly. But like you said, mine is an exterior version. And I'm not listing the nights of agony and the amount of tears that are cried and all the things that an author goes through to get to a point to actually see their book out in the world.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So, okay, we're here to talk specifically about one book, but before
Mhm.
we hit that one, you had 4 books released in the late 1990s, correct?
Yes, 1994, 1995, 1996, and then there was a gap, and then there
Hmm.
was one in 2000.
Okay. All right.
And so that's 25 years ago,
That
and
is
we
25 years.
re-released them as 25th anniversary editions with new covers.
Right. And that is set in the Civil War era,
It
correct?
is.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. And so those books are available right now on Amazon under T. Elizabeth Renich. And you kind of told a neat story, which I think you should tell, about the generations of readers with those books.
Okay. So I do have a third generation reader. When I first moved to Charlotte, I went to Bible study with a lady named Vicky, and
Okay.
Vicky had 2 daughters, Julia
Mm,
and Emily. Vicky read it first. She let the daughters read the stories, and they loved them. They were history buffs anyway.
yeah,
And then the girls grew up, got married, started having kids, some of whom are named after my characters,
that is
which
wild.
is so cool.
That is wild.
And then Julia's oldest son, a couple of years ago when I got to meet him for the first
Mhm.
time, he had already read all 4 books, and he
Wow.
was 11 at the time.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So these
Yep.
books are definitely ones that they're not written as historical romance. They're not like for women romantic history
No,
type of things. These are
I
books that
have,
are going to be available or interested to all.
yeah,
That was my cat that just jumped
that
in
was
front
the
of us.
cat.
White went black.
So, for those people out there who are football fans, I worked
Hmm.
for 2 NFL football teams. And in the first series of books, there's a character that was named after the kicker and the punter.
Hmm.
And so players were reading them, coaches were reading them, and everybody kind of liked them
Yeah.
actually. And we're waiting for the next book to come out during training camp. So they had some reading material for
Yeah.
after hours. Yeah.
That's so. I mean, hey, wives, if you want to get some books for your husbands for Christmas, get them these books and then tell them, hey, even NFL players have read these books, so you can do it. You can do it. So you wrote those about 25 years ago. You re-released those last year,
Mhm.
and then you weren't done because you had that challenge that was presented to you, and you
Yes.
have written another book that we're actually going to talk about, which is called A Worthy Risk.
Yes.
Yes. So tell us about this book and the time period, and just take us on a tour.
Just take us on a tour. Well, it looks like this.
Oh, so beautiful. I love that.
I love that too. My cover designer did an amazing job for me. And she actually is working on a cover for the next one, but let's talk about the first one first. So, um, in talking with Julie Clausen one afternoon,
Hmm.
we were at Williamsburg, and she said, "This history is right here in your backyard. Why aren't you doing something about it?" And I said, "Because I write Civil War novels, and this is not
Hmm.
my war." And she said, "Yeah, let's talk about the last time you wrote a Civil War novel. What was that, like 20 some odd years ago?" Hey, I resemble that remark. Quit it. I said, but some of this might be,
Hmm.
useful to you, some of
Hmm.
this information. And she said, "I'm very fond of England.
Yeah, she
You
is.
write this story. Why are you not writing this story? You need to write this story." And so when it came about, I was trying to figure out, because I had taken a lot of notes while we were in Bath and in the
Hmm.
Cotswolds and just different places that kind of struck a chord in me for some reason, because I'd
Hmm.
never been to England until 2017 with her group.
Right.
And
Right.
all of a sudden, it was very interesting to see a statue of George Washington in London
Hmm.
and to realize what a neat country that was, even though we fought so hard to get away from them.
Hmm.
It just seemed like, okay, so technically we were all British until 1776.
Right.
I was like, oh, I guess I never really looked at it that way before.
Hmm.
So I started with British characters
Okay.
in kind of around Bath.
Mm-hmm.
and a little bit of London, and had them go as soldiers to fight in the French and Indian War,
Mm-hmm.
and then coming over there to like explore and see what it's like,
Right.
because it's very different than England altogether.
Right.
But I didn't realize, like, you always hear taxation without representation.
Mm-hmm.
That's the whole thing. Anybody who knows something about the American Revolution,
Mm-hmm.
that's the first thing that they're going to tell you.
Right.
But how did we get there? So you have to
Mm-hmm.
back it up to the
Yeah.
previous war, because that French and Indian War was what generated all the debt that they were trying to tax the colonies for, that they could
Mm.
pay it off.
Right. Right.
Yes.
And it's interesting because I was thinking back to, I don't even know what grade I was in school when I was studying early American history, but it's like the French and Indian Wars almost skimmed over
Yeah.
in so many ways. Like it's kind of like, what is that? I mean, it's important, but it's not the revolution. So let's get to the
Right.
revolution. And that's
Right.
boom, you're there. So in a sense, you're kind of starting out this series with the backstory to the revolution. Is that
Right.
correct?
Correct.
Okay. Okay.
So my main character is a wounded soldier
Mm-hmm.
who survived the massacre at Fort Michilimackinac, which is in the Great Lakes Territory at that time. It's Michigan now.
Mm-hmm.
And he goes missing for 8 weeks, and his last known whereabouts were Fort Michilimackinac, and he's found again at Fort Pitt. And those two places are 500 miles apart, and he has no idea how he got there.
And 500 miles in those days is not just hop in a car and drive.
No, it's overland and waterways, and yes. So
Mm-hmm.
that's very disturbing to him, that he can't
Yeah.
figure out how he got there.
Yeah.
So his best friend, who is also a soldier, finds him, and they're medically discharged and they have to get back to England. And the friend thinks he's doing Marcus a favor by taking him home. And that's where Gideon's sister happens to be.
Mm-hmm. Oh, so there is a little bit of a
So,
relationship
so there's
romance.
some, oh yeah,
Yeah.
there has to be, but
It's not the
I,
main thrust of the story.
no, they are there
Mm-hmm.
because they're interacting with the real history.
I love
For
it.
instance, I have Benjamin Franklin in my
Mm-hmm.
story,
Mm-hmm.
and he has conversation with my character.
Right.
How do you do that? You look at what Franklin's paper said, or some of his quotes, or try to get something that sounds like something he would have said.
Right.
It's fiction. I know that I can play with literary license, but accuracy is so very important to me that I want to make it believable.
Right.
I want somebody to finish reading my books and go, did that really happen? That
Mm-hmm.
could have happened.
Mm-hmm.
I had a historian I worked with for a long time. He finally admitted to me, I don't think it happened that way. I can't prove that it happened that way, but I can't prove that it didn't happen that way. And if it had, I can't imagine it happening any other way. So
Yeah.
you have that convincing thing
Uh-huh.
of, could this really have been? If my characters were real, could this have been?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
The other thing I roped into it was Charles Mason and Jeremiah Dixon were commissioned to make a boundary line between what is now Pennsylvania colony and Maryland colony.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so those kinds of historic things, and I live in a very historic town, and so
Yeah.
finding out that there's places here in the town that I live in that are actually in my story now,
Oh, that's so fun.
because
That's so
that's
fun.
history that's literally in my backyard.
Yeah. Right. Right. Well, and I think one of the things that's really important to note specifically about your book, and this one's called A Worthy Risk. We'll just keep repeating that title out there.
Okay.
But I think what's really important for readers to know is that you are, in essence, a historian at heart. So when they're reading these books, it's not just a fiction novel that uses history to support it. It's a historical story with fiction to make it work.
Yes.
It's almost the flip. So you can read a lot of what you write and then go look it up, and you're going to find it.
Yeah.
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 Places, sites,
Actual places. That is
events,
fun
those types
when
of things.
somebody tells you, I took your book and followed it as a map. I had a reader tell me once,
That's cool.
for for one of my books, the Civil War books,
Hmm.
that you could use my descriptions of Richmond as a map to go down there and see the old places.
That makes
And
sense.
that and he was a native of Richmond. And for
Wow.
somebody to say something like that, that the details are that accurate,
Accurate. Yeah.
does my heart good.
Yeah.
I did my
Exactly.
homework.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did. No doubt that you do your homework when it comes to history. I mean,
I do.
if I ever have any questions about American history, I'm like, Tammy, do tell. You're like the human version of ChatGPT. You just know everything.
I don't know everything, but
As
I
it
know
relates to
some.
American
I know enough to
history.
get by.
Oh,
So
fun. Okay.
for instance, research, if you will,
Yes.
there is a special treat that my main heroine
Hmm.
character makes for her brothers when she
Hmm.
needs to bribe them. And a friend of
Bribery.
mine
All
took
for food bribery.
a friend of mine took the Colonial Williamsburg recipe and we made them with modern stuff just to
Yeah.
see if we could do it. I am not a cook. I am not a kitchen person,
Hmm.
so it's very good to have people who are willing to try with me so I
Yeah.
can
Yeah.
experience these things. We didn't burn the kitchen down, and nobody died from the experiment.
But did they taste good?
They did.
Okay. So they could literally be used to bribe somebody because they were worth the
Yes.
calories. Okay. Oh, that's so fun. That's so fun. So back to the story as it's related to the time period. We were talking French and Indian War, and then we were talking Revolutionary War. So really, this starts. He is Marcus, the hero, is
Yes,
part of the French and Indian War as a British soldier, correct?
correct.
So he's been sent there from Britain. All that stuff happens. Now he's back in Britain when the story opens. Am I correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
So, what year is this? Like, what time period?
It starts in 1763.
1763. Okay. And that is called what era?
The Georgian era.
The Georgian era. Well, how was that for a lead up? That was a good lead up. It wasn't very subtle. But
That
the
was
fact that,
great.
the fact of the matter is, like, I don't want to say I know a lot about history, but I do love history. But when
Hmm.
you threw out the Georgian era to me, I'm like, what is that? I thought you were talking about the state of Georgia.
No.
I'm like, you're
Four,
writing a book in
yeah.
Georgia? That was not.
No, four
Like,
King Georges.
so explain a little bit about why it's called the Georgian era, because I want to put this timeline together for our readers. We have the
Hmm.
French and Indian War. We're just pre-Revolutionary War.
Yes.
And we're when really America and Britain are starting to just bubble, like that bubbling before it
Yep. It's a
boils.
simmering.
The
Yep.
simmering. Yeah, that's the word.
Yes.
And so it's called the Georgian era. Take us a little bit through the English history part of this then.
So the reason it's called the Georgian era is because there were four King Georges in a row.
Okay.
George the First, George the Second, George the Third is the one that you mostly hear about because he was on the throne at the time that America became independent.
Mm-hmm.
So then there's a George that comes after him, but that's a kind of a different story. If you want those kind of stories, you have to read Erica Vetch or
But
Julie, or
that would be
that's
the Regency
Regency,
era.
right?
So the Georgian era is before Pride and Prejudice, if we want to just put it in
Yes,
readerly language.
yes,
Okay.
exactly.
All right.
So those Georgians, actually, Laura Franz and I have a Facebook page
I
called The
see.
Gorgeous Georgians.
Mm-hmm. I love that
That's
page
very
too. It's so
fun.
interesting.
It's so fun. We have a lot of people who are participating and
Yeah.
sharing things, and we have a good time with it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So
So
the
go ahead.
1763 is when Pontiac's rebellion was ending. And
Okay.
that's the tail end of the French and Indian War. In
Okay.
England, they called it the 7 Years' War, and it lasted for 9 years. So don't ask me how they do their math.
Wait, the 7 Years' War is the French and Indian War?
French and Indian in America.
I did not know that. I
Yes.
have heard of the 7 Year War. I just
Yeah.
assumed it was another war they were fighting at the same time they were fighting the French and Indian War.
No.
All right. Well, Jamie's going to go back to history. Look at what I just learned. You just schooled me on a podcast, Tammy.
I try. I
But you do
try.
it so gently. You're not like me. If it was me, I'd be like shaking the ruler in the air, going, "Come on, 7-year war." And it was 9 years. So yeah, I'm not sure how the British
Yeah,
account
I'm
either,
not
but
sure how that all
yeah,
goes,
that's
but
probably why
yes,
we busted away from the Brits.
could
We
could
have
be
better
one of the
math.
factors.
We
Yeah.
got rid of the metric system.
So, but the taxation system did not go away. That's
We
what the
tried. We
festering
tried.
was, and that was the simmering, and
Yes. Yes.
that's how. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So, okay, we've covered some of the history. Now let's talk about characters. So we talked a little bit about Marcus and
Yeah.
how the story opens. So he's back in England as the story opens and he meets his friend's sister. So tell us a little
Sisters.
about her.
Her name is Serenity.
Mm-hmm.
She is the only sister in a string of four brothers. There were three brothers, then there was her, then there was a kind of an oops baby
Mm-hmm.
after her, and she takes on almost trying to be the mother figure for him because their mother has already died and
Okay.
their father is kind of an absentee father.
Okay.
And so she just wants the best for him because
Mm-hmm.
the English law of primogeniture was eldest son, heir, gets everything, and a fourth born son is going to end up with nothing.
Yeah.
So she's very concerned that he's going to need to make a way for himself to
Okay.
be able to live and support himself.
Okay. All
And
right.
so she tries to finagle a couple of things, but other people have other plans that
Yeah.
are bigger than what she can see.
Yeah. And thus begins the story of Marcus and Serenity and the entire family.
Yes,
And a whole cast of sub characters. You've got quite a cast of sub characters.
I do. I have a lot of people.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's what makes it fun because you're not always seeing it from Marcus or Serenity's perspective. You
Right.
can see it from his sister sometimes or one of her brothers sometimes
Mm-hmm.
because their angle on life is going to be different from what they see.
Right. Right. So this really is it's a first book in a
Yes.
series. And it's really meant to be kind of a saga, a historical saga. Am I
Yeah.
correct? Okay.
Yep.
All right.
That's how my first four books were. It was one family that went
Yep.
through the years. There's characters that come and go from the
Mm-hmm.
books,
Mm-hmm.
and that's the way this new series is as well.
Okay. All right. Well, that's pretty cool. Now that I know that the 7 Years War in the French and Indian, I'm still back on that. But it's so funny though because you look at English history and you learn English history separate from American history
Hmm.
until you realize how much they merge.
Yes.
They really do. So that's very interesting.
Yeah.
So Tammy, tell us a little bit about this book, and then how. I'm just curious how you even got the idea for this story. I mean, you shared a little bit about it with Julie Clausen. Thank you, Julie, for asking Tammy to write these books and all of that. But like as you were sitting there thinking, I mean, what brought to mind, like, you know what, I want to go back to England and start it there, and then through this series of books, work people up through to the Revolutionary War.
So I have another author friend named Bobby Graffunder,
Okay.
and she has a happy place at Mackinac Island
Mm.
and loves going there. And she started telling me about this fort that's on the mainland.
Mm-hmm.
And she said, well, you know, there was a massacre there during the French and Indian War. I was like, didn't even know it existed. So what is Fort Michilimackinac? I don't even know.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you started digging and pulling threads,
Mm-hmm.
it's like, you know what? One of those soldiers coming back from the French and Indian War could have been at that fort.
Yeah.
How could he have been at that fort? Why would he have been at that fort? How do we
Mm.
get him home? He's missing 800 or 8 weeks and 500 miles.
Right.
How do we feasibly get him back? And they didn't have PTSD
Mm-hmm.
named then,
Right.
but soldiers came home with
Oh, yeah.
those symptoms all the time.
Right.
And that's kind of that motherly trait that Serenity has.
Okay.
She ends up caring for him after an injury.
Mm.
And so there are times when he's not quite himself. And
Yeah.
so there's some scary things that you really have to watch. You don't want him near sharp objects.
Mm,
We'll just say that.
okay. All right.
Yeah.
No sharp,
So
no
no sharp,
axes, no
no,
knives. Okay.
no.
All right. But you're not a violent writer either. You don't like sit and write massive war scenes and create super, you more or less refer to different battles and things like that, but you're not like one of those. In other words, if I have a homeschooled or a public school child who's 14 but loves history, these are safe for them to pick up.
Yes, they are.
Yep. Yep. In fact, you've had quite a lot of homeschoolers use this for
I
historical
have.
curriculum.
Yeah.
That's why I mentioned homeschoolers, because I was thinking there's homeschoolers that use this for history books, people.
Yeah. So, and that makes it fun too, because some of them do. They take them to the sites and they can actually
Yeah.
see the places that I've written about. I did that with Laura Ingalls Wilder books when I was
Mm,
growing up
yeah.
and go to the places that were in her stories. And so to write those kind of stories was always fun.
Right. Right. It is. It's always so neat when history becomes alive. Um,
Yeah.
but sometimes I'm not going to lie, it's a lot easier to read it in a fiction form. Um, and
Which is
I'll,
really why I do what I do.
yeah,
Because so many people, I don't like history. It's
right.
so boring. It's so dry. It's so, I know people who have read my books and then they'll go look for history,
Mm,
especially historical markers. I love historical markers. I hunt historical markers.
I was just saying,
There's
that's like your hobby. It really
there's
is your
a
hobby.
well, on this last trip that we went to ACFW, Sarah
Mm,
Hamaker and I drove out and she let me take a little detour to Point Pleasant,
yeah.
West Virginia. She said, but that's so far west. Are you doing Civil War? I said, oh no, we're going to go find George Washington. Yes, we are. She said, that far west. And I said, that
Uh-huh.
used to be Virginia all the way to the Mississippi River,
Right.
practically.
Right.
Ohio River Valley. He was all about that stuff.
Right.
It's all about the land.
Yep. Yep.
Yep.
Well, and that's funny, that brings up the memory that I had from a couple of weeks ago when I was telling you about I found an old book on my dad's bookshelves that was like what 1855 or something like or 1835. I'm like, this is close to the Regencies I'm ever getting with an old book, right? And so I'm texting Tammy and I'm like, yeah, and it was published in that's right here. It was published in what town was that? I said, oh, it was published in Wheeling, Virginia. And she goes, oh, that was actually West Virginia. So that book was published before West Virginia was actually a state. And I'm like, who knows this stuff? Tammy knows this stuff.
Me. Me. I used to work with a guy who told me early on of our meeting, he said, my brain is filled with useless trivia that nobody cares about. I said, but I do. And
There
I
you
want to
go.
pick your brain.
There you go.
And so he let me and he
Yeah.
shared a whole bunch of knowledge. And I've had some really fun historians who once they figure out that you're really serious about it,
Right.
they are more than willing to share and more than willing to test you on what
Yes.
you've written.
Yes.
And if you're going to pass the history test, yes, fiction is great and
Mm-hmm.
it's a worthy tool of
Mm-hmm.
being used to get people interested. They'll check your accuracy. I have a couple of like sample books out with museum curators right now,
Mm-hmm.
just to see if I don't know if anything will come of it or
Right.
not, but
Right.
it's always worth a shot.
Right.
I used to sell out at my book signings at the Gettysburg
Oh, I
Battlefield
believe it. Yeah,
bookstore.
I believe
Hmm.
it. And again, it's because you've got so many people that love to read fiction, but are never
Hmm.
going to pick up a history book. But if you
Right.
can combine them and they know they're actually getting accurate history, then it just becomes that much more of a amazing read.
Yeah.
Really. Yeah, it really does. Okay,
Yep.
so last question for you, which really has nothing to do with your book. It has to do with you. Why do I call you Tammy when your books are sold as T. Elizabeth Renich? What is the story
So
behind this name?
the story behind this is that I didn't think that Tammy sounded very historical.
Oh,
And
that's
so
fair.
when I was writing historical fiction, Elizabeth is a name that's been around for ever,
Hmm.
just about.
Oh, yeah.
Um, and I liked that. And
Hmm.
so I thought, okay, I didn't want to get totally rid of the T because my dad picked my name. And so
Oh,
didn't want to,
right.
totally diss him on my name, but
Right.
I liked Elizabeth better.
That's good. So Elizabeth
So,
isn't even really part of your name. It's just part of the pen name.
nope, that's my middle name.
It is your middle name. Okay.
It is my middle
It
name.
is your middle name. Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
And so then when I started having book signings and signing as T. Elizabeth, then people would want to know what the T stood for. And then it was like, not trouble. Really,
Oh,
honestly.
I'm glad you
No, not
clarified.
trouble. But if you remember, there used to be a movie way long time ago. It was Romancing the Stone.
Yes.
And the main male character was Jack T. Colton.
Mm-hmm.
And she asks him, what does the T stand for?
Mm-hmm.
And he says,
Trouble.
trustworthy.
Oh, trustworthy. Okay. There you go. There you go.
And so I can claim that because I have a lot of people who have described me that way as
I would
being
agree.
trustworthy.
No, I would totally agree with that. I
Yeah.
would 100% agree with that.
So, and there's your cat again.
There's my cat again. It's just one of those things with, if anybody's watching this on YouTube, you know what's going on. If you're just listening in your car on a podcast player or something, basically in front of the screen, you just see this white ball that just, it's not an orb.
Drops.
It's not a ghost. My house is not haunted. It's the cat. And there's no way to edit it out. So we just leave Foo and his demands to be seen now and then. Oh, Tammy, this was so much fun. So your book, A Worthy Risk, is available now. And what is the name of the first series, too, for anybody who's interested in the Civil War series that you wrote?
The first series is the Shadow Creek Chronicles.
Okay.
And that one is Word of Honor. Wait, they're right here. Word of Honor, Matter of Trust, Not Without Courage, and Strength and Glory.
There you go. Don't ask me. I should know, but I don't.
In the new series. I know. I spend so much time in the new series anymore.
Yes.
It's like, what are those books called?
I totally get that. I totally get that.
The second series is the Sovereign Liberty series.
Okay. All right. So we have the Shadow Creek Chronicles, which is the Civil War series.
Yes.
And then we have the Sovereign Liberty series. Liberty.
Yes.
Word of Honor. And that's the one that we've been talking about the most today on the podcast.
No.
And there's the cover if you're watching this on YouTube.
It's A Worthy Risk, not Word of Honor.
See, now you got me messed up. I'm trying so hard.
We're trying together.
If you want to get one of these books, you'll probably find one called A Word of Honor somewhere in there. And you'll also find one called A Worthy Risk. Both of them are worth getting, so just get them both, and you can figure out which one's which. Was that a good plug, Tammy?
That was great. Wonderful. Well done.
The books are available on Amazon. Am I correct?
Yes.
All right.
Correct.
And they're an ebook option, as well as you can get them in paperback too.
Yes.
Paperback.
You
can get a paper book. Shock. Did you know some books have paper? All right, Jamie's going off on a lot of squirrel trails right now. And it must be getting later at night because I'm losing my mind. But this is a real peek into the friendship between Tammy and Jamie when our facades come down and the world sees us as we really are. Two questionably sane writers.
Are writers sane?
I think you're more sane than I am. I'm just going to say.
I don't know.
I don't know.
People kind of worry about me when they say, so do you have plans for the weekend? Yeah, I'm going to stay home and play with my imaginary friends.
Yeah, there's that. Or I'm going to go look for road signs that say historical markers.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Because that's a common pastime.
The historical markers, there's a whole database for it.
I know, there is. Yeah. I don't know if people realize this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Historical
I've almost caused
marker
accidents
database.
on our vacations. When I'm
trying to read the signs.
Yeah. Or I'll scream, I'll be like, oh, there's a historical sign. And my husband's like, oh my gosh, I thought there was a deer jumping out in the road. I'm like, no, it's go back. back. So it's nice
I've
to know that
flipped
there's
a few U-turns
I'm
when you
sure.
see something.
It is interesting. There was one historical marker, and we'll close with this because we've gone over time, which is totally fine because I'm in control of the podcast. People can shut it off whenever they want to. So if we want to do a 3-hour podcast, then that's what we're going to do. But no, I was all excited. There was a historical marker. I'm like, we've got to get to this historical marker. We were in Wyoming. I'm so excited. It even says historical marker. And we get there, and it was the most disappointing historical marker because all it was on this date in history, a tornado came through this valley.
Oh.
What?
And that's all
there
you
wasn't
got?
even people living there. It was a historical marker for a tornado through a national park reservoir where no one lived. Who
Well, maybe
cares?
the tornado took them away.
No, they weren't there to begin with. I'm like, I don't care. This isn't the Weather Channel. It's like when you turn on the History Channel and it's like aliens. Huh?
On the History Channel.
On the History Channel. Or it's like, Alaskan ice roads. What happened to history? Anyway. On that note, thank you, Tammy. Thank you for being with us today.
Cheers.
Cheers. Look at that. No Stamp Act. I love your mug. That's awesome.
There's tea in it.
Well, I figured. Are you going to throw it over your shoulder now in rebellion?
No.
We're going to have a Boston Tea Party reenactment right now. On the count of 3, everybody toss your tea over your shoulder.
Tea. Okay.
No, don't toss the tea. It didn't work for them. It's not going to work for us. But anyway.
It started a...
It did.
All kinds of things.
Well, that's another book and another podcast.
It
for
is.
Another time. But to try
Thank
to
you
redeem,
for having me.
Yeah, to try to redeem the last 5 minutes here, show us that book cover again. so that everybody can see it. Again. A Worthy Risk by T. Elizabeth Renich. It is available now on Amazon in e-copy or paperback. And better get it now because book 2 is coming out in 2026.
Yes.
All right. Thanks for being with us.
Thanks for being here.
And that's a wrap for today here at Madlet Musings. I hope you join us again. And if you want to, be sure you like and subscribe here at your favorite podcast player or on YouTube, because you won't want to miss all the wonderful alerts that let you know when we have another conversation for you to eavesdrop on.